Hey everybody, it's Wayne bringing you a weekly wheel and other options update. It's been a little bit since my last update. One thing that I want to point out, in the spirit of full transparency, is if you guys don't hear from me, I promise you it's not because bad things are happening and I'm afraid to show you guys bad or poor or subpar results. You guys are always going to get the good, the bad, the ugly, and the expensive. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Truth be told, boy, option premium just continues to be very difficult to generate. So last time you guys tuned in, my grand total for 2023 was this bottom number here of $29,682. Let's go ahead and start off with PayPal. PayPal has been a wheel stock that you guys have been following me along for at least a couple of months here. And you'll see that in May of 2023, I purchased 100 shares of PayPal. Now, my cost basis on those 100 shares is $64.96. We're just going to go ahead and round up and say $65 or otherwise $6,500. Now, for the last couple of months, I have sold covered calls on a repeated basis. And in the upper right-hand corner, this $514, that's how much I've made in total from selling covered calls. Now, one thing that I have stood by in principle is not selling below my cost basis. And this has become a problem for me now because if we go ahead and take a look here at PayPal, the current share price of PayPal is trading at just over $58. Well, my cost basis is $64.96. And I can tell you right now, seeing how PayPal's current share price is so below my cost basis, there really isn't any type of meaningful premium if I'm not willing to budge, and I'm not, on selling below my cost basis. So right now, I don't have any active options that are open. The last time I closed out a covered call was on the 29th of September, and even then, just choosing my break-even price of $65, I was only able to generate $5. I bought to close for $1. So you can see I'm up to $514, but things have really slowed down, seeing how PayPal is down so significantly for the last 3 months. But I'm still optimistic that PayPal can be a winner for me when it comes to generating premium. So what I'm going to do is just wait on the sidelines, and when PayPal's share price goes up, and I do feel confident it will, I will be able to sell additional covered calls and generate some more premium. Now, speaking of selling covered calls, take a look at all the covered call contracts that I have written in the month of October. That's right. Line item 418, this is the only one. There has just been little to no movement within my portfolio with the ability to sell covered calls. There's a couple of variables. One, positions that I own hundreds of shares of, such as Amazon and Tesla, I have mistakenly sold below my cost basis. So with that, in fear of having those shares called away, I have repeatedly had to roll up and roll out those contracts to even 2024 in the hopes that I do not have those 100 shares called away. Now, Starbucks is a position that I was able to write a covered call, and you'll see here, the strike price of $98, I was only able to generate $3. Again, this goes back to the overall market condition, market climate, the VIX being as low as it is, and volume has an impact with certain stocks as well. Let's go and take a look here at Starbucks. Now, currently, Starbucks is trading for $92.71. I am doing good, not selling below my cost basis, which, by the way, for my 101 shares is $78.84. This is also the downside, if you will, to selling options on stocks that you love. And I do love Starbucks. I do love their dividend growth. I love what I can anticipate in stock growth over the next couple of years. And so I do not want to have those 100 shares called away. Now, on the flip side, I could sell covered calls and generate a lot of premium. But again, I really want to hold on to Starbucks for the foreseeable future. And that's the balance. When you have 100 shares of a stock that you love versus 100 shares of a stock that you're kind of indifferent as to whether or not those shares are called away, that's going to impact your strike price. That's going to impact the amount of premium that you're making. So in this case, yeah, I only made $3 this week, but do I think that Starbucks is going to get close to $98 a share? I don't. I do think that $3 is pretty much going to be $3 that I keep. And next week, I'll go ahead and do the same. And I'm certainly not making hundreds of dollars every single month. But it's interesting because with Starbucks, if I can just make the equivalent of one extra dividend payment per year, that's a pretty reasonable goal to have if you are selling covered calls against a stock that you love. All right, let's go ahead and give you a peek at all of the cash secured puts that I have sold this past month. And you guys are going to pick up on a theme of stocks that I essentially rinse and repeat. Netflix is the stock that I continually sell cash secured puts against. Meta has been a stock for the last couple of months that I have been able to generate pretty decent and steady premium. Tesla is definitely going to be probably the number one profitable stock in the cash secured put realm for 2023. What else do we have? Nvidia is also going to be a stock that you'll see rather consistently going forward as well. But at the end of the day, let's take a look here at Netflix. For this contract that I currently own, I opened this on the 6th of October, and the collateral that I had to have was $36,500. Now, I made $184, but I got to tell you, this is the frustrating part about the current market conditions. There really just isn't the amount of premium that I was used to seeing in 2022. In fact, this time last year, I was making far more selling cash secured puts with far less collateral. And so this is the problem. Take a look here at Meta. You know, I had to have $30,000 of collateral, and all I've made is $71. Now, I'm a glass half full guy, so that $71 is still going to be something I'm very proud of. But in reality, again, I go back to we're just not seeing the significant amount of premium. We'll go back to the total view that I shared with the last options video. And as I mentioned before, the total at that time was $29,682. Now, 2022, the total was $47,000. And just a couple of months ago, I would have told you, and I probably did say it repeatedly, that I was going to easily surpass the amount that I made in 2022. I no longer have the same optimism. I certainly think that I'm going to get pretty close to that 47,000, but I certainly don't think that I'm going to make 50,000 or 75,000 or 100,000. And that was kind of the number that I was assuming when I first began this at the beginning of the year. So it just goes to show you can be good at selling options, but that has nothing to do with market conditions, the VIX, and depending on the stock volume as well. All right, let's get you an update with all of those newer numbers, and we're going to fill in September as well as some dates in October. Remember, the grand total was $29,682, and that moves up to $31,278. So I've been out of the loop with you for a couple of weeks, but I've never stopped selling cash secured puts as well as covered calls, and things are steadily increasing month over month. As you can see here, September for me, I did make $3,600 selling covered calls for the 6 contracts. But a lot of that had to do with rolling out a position from earlier. So if you guys are able to pause on the video, if we're looking at the last update and then we scroll over here to the current update, take a look here at May, right? May, I had it down for 4,700. Obviously, there was a contract that I decided to roll out. And so that loss is reflected now in this updated spreadsheet. And then, of course, when you roll out a position, you're going to see an increase in premium when you roll out that contract. That's why it's always important to zoom out, as Brad Finn says, and look at the total number. I'm not just looking at September. I'm not just looking at October. I'm looking at the total amount of premium that I've earned selling covered calls, and that is $11,444. On the cash secured put side, I wish this number was higher, but it is what it is, and so far I've made nearly $17,000 this year. If we factor in the wheel stocks that I have featured for the last couple of months, that tallies up to be $31,278. Not bad. Will I reach $47,000? I don't know, but I do expect October to be very profitable for me, since a lot of earnings are coming up for the popular stocks that I featured earlier. Some of them even going into November. So you guys will have to follow along and see if I can keep this steady momentum going. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Hey, we'll see you on the next one.